Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. For those who have missed it, I dropped the video analyzing every play up to Shidou's goal in the current PSG against Bastard München game. Check it out please and give it a like. Today's video will be short, so please consider subscribing and liking before we get to it. The thing about ego types that Izagi is currently pondering over is something he had already figured out intuitively. Izagi understood that he and Yukimiya were walking in opposite directions because their ego types strongly contradicted each other. It's true and evident that on the surface level, their senses of protagonists were going in opposite directions. Hence why any suggestion from Izagi sounded like he wanted to make Yukimiya a supporting character in his story. But when you dig deeper, had Yukimiya been a person with a wall-type ego, he would have understood when Izagi tried to remind him of all the other strong protagonists that were on the field and that Yukimiya had to take into account while he focused on an achievable goal. Those words from Izagi triggered Yukimiya even more, and he even compared Izagi to Kaiser. Izagi's understanding of that whole scene about Yukimiya and the one before with Nagi proves to me that Izagi at that time he had an understanding that went deeper than just the surface level of two protagonists wanting different things, albeit an understanding on an instinctive level, or dare I say subconscious level. I can name other examples, but I will keep it short here and we'll come back to it in another video. My whole point is, and that is something I already mentioned in Twitter a long time ago, please follow me there if you want to see my thoughts in real time. Izagi's feats throughout Blue Lock, throughout the whole story so far, have always been about Izagi first tapping into the depth of his abilities through his instincts and then figuring out a way to reproduce those feats consciously. In a nutshell, Izagi's development reminds me of how babies learn to walk. A good mix of innate instincts, developmental milestones, and environmental influences. And as we grow, we do things so repeatedly that they become part of us, and we can do those reflexively. Now, allow me to make a little literature detour here. The notion of heroes losing something, putting themselves in harm's way, and being hurt, suffering, is often tied with the concept of the hero's journey as described by Joseph Campbell in his book The Hero with a Thousand Faces. The hero archetype is one of the oldest in the history of humanity, and suffering, loss, hardship are central to multiple hero narratives. Without those, there wouldn't be any heroes. A couple of ideas are meant to be communicated through those, and let's just name a few. Character development. The hardship serves as a catalyst for the hero's personal growth and development. Relatability. Flawed and vulnerable heroes are often more relatable to audiences. Every time a hero faces his biggest nemesis, usually they use a figure of speech, they use the term dragon. It is rarely the case that the hero ends up unscathed. This symbolizes struggle, as the hero's physical or psychological wounds represent the challenges and struggles the hero faces. It helps to create dramatic tension, and most importantly, it allows for narrative closure. As we know, the hero Kunigami has been tasked to stop Shidou, the dragon's freedom. We have a clear face-off between the hero and his biggest nemesis to date. There is no way Kunigami won't be injured. True, he has managed to stop Shidou a couple of times so far, but look at the way he lands most of the time. His posture, his body posture is far from ideal. And I know Kunigami is bound to be injured. He's most definitely pushing himself to his limits, right? As Izagi said back in the game against Manchester City, a machine will break if you run it on full power forever. And it isn't far-fetched to assume that Kunigami is currently reaching levels hitherto unseen, which implies that he's currently pushing his body and his mind to their limits. The concept of injuries mid-game is quite familiar in Blue Lock. Like remember, Nico got injured in the U20 game and had to be replaced. Same for Chigiri, who went down due to cramps, right? We saw how Corona went out in the match against Ubers. Given that substitution have to happen during this game, yeah? And Noel Noah said he will aggressively substitute player. And we also had the huge focus on Igaguri. And if you also take into account the reminder that VAR is used for the games in the New Egoist League, the setup is perfect for Kunigami to get injured while stopping Shido and Igaguri being subbed in to continue the job, albeit while not using his subpar physical abilities, but his cunning ability of drawing fouls from the opponent, right? And please remember that Shido and Igaguri have history together, yeah? So, I might even say that Shido might receive a yellow card after fouling Igaguri. I am convinced, and that's like certain for me, yeah, that Kunigami will completely shut down Shido and he will get injured, and when he's gonna be out, Shido may shine again because Igaguri will not be able to do a great job at first